Live stream is working.
Okay, thank you. Right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the planning meeting. I'd like to give a warning that we are live and it's being recorded as well. Before we start, right, okay. Right, apologies for absence, please, Vicky.
Councillor John Burns has given his apologies tonight.
Right. Is there any other apologies?
No.
No? Right, thank you. Declaration of pecuniary interest and request for dispensation, anyone? No? Right, okay. Minutes of the previous meeting. May I sign these as a true record? Everyone? All those in favour, please show.
I think we had a proposed with Liz there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, you're going too fast for me, Pat.
Yeah, sorry. Can I have a seconder for that, please?
Dave. Dave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favour, please show. Okay, thank you very much. Right, the next thing on the agenda is matters arising in previous minutes. Page 138. Got P20119 on that, street naming.
Pat, you're on the wrong minutes, I believe.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. You need the minutes of the 20th of October.
Right. It's on the ones that you sent, I think.
You've sent us the 6th, Vicky, and we've approved the 20th at full council the other day.
You have. Okay, thank you.
Oh, well, Vicky, you'll have to find the present minutes then, please.
Okay.
And go through the pages.
But they were approved at full council.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Next one on the agenda then is.
But we still have the 6th that we haven't approved, apparently, or have we? We didn't approve them at full council, did we? As well as the 20th?
Was the 6th not approved at the 20th?
I haven't got the minutes for the full council. Can anyone get that up? Get them up?
I believe the minutes of the 6th of October were approved at the meeting of the 20th of October.
Ah, okay. Right. It's just a bit confusing because you've sent them to us for today, so that made me uncertain. Thank you.
Yeah, just to say that it's not the job of full council to approve the minutes, they simply adopt them. It's still the job of the individual committee who actually approve them.
Put them on the screen. I apologise for that.
Have you got them, Vicky, to go on screen and share?
Yes. The 6 minutes for the 6 were approved at the 20th.
Yes, they
meeting.
were. It's just the 20th that haven't been approved by planning.
You should be able to share.
Thank you.
If you can get them up then.
I will, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry.
You got those up?
Can everyone see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, I can now. Right, can you scroll through them? Please, Vicky.
Yes, I can.
Scroll,
Sorry,
not scroll.
I can see you. Sorry. Okay, so this is page 141.
No actions there. Okay, 142, please. One, 4, 2, yeah. One, 4, 3. Can you scroll to the left a bit? That's it. All neutral. 1, 4, 4.
Can I speak on number 3?
Number 3, yeah.
Yeah, there is no decision there. The decision should be neutral.
Oh, yeah.
And the same goes for number 5. That should be neutral. Sorry, that should be object.
Chair?
And the same for number 7. That should be neutral.
Chair, the decisions are written underneath in the case where there's an objection and there are comments.
Yes.
You have to read downwards rather than sideways.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
3 is an object, although Bruce has just said it was a neutral.
I've put them underneath because that's how I was asked to do it.
Who by West Suffolk?
No, by you.
Because it was clearer,
Yeah.
Oh, was I? Oh, right.
allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, I'm confused now.
Right, so number 5, 1365 is an object. The Town Council have noted the reduction in height of the proposal. However, amendments to the application did not address the objections previously submitted. So that's that one. And then number 7 is neutral, but we had some comments as well. So it's all there. Which was the other one, Bruce, that you wanted to see?
Number 7, wasn't it?
3. Bruce asked for,
Oh, 3.
There you go. That's number 3.
which he thought was a neutral, but is actually object.
Yeah, number 3 is neutral. I can see it now. I'm sure it was neutral, but if you're saying it's an object.
1 minute.
It was definitely object.
Because it was a massive parking problem, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see that underneath there is all the comments.
I've got object in my papers.
Okay.
Must be right then.
Okay.
Okay, 145. That's number 7. One, 4, 6, is there?
That's Councillor Burns' report on the Persimmon,
Right.
which was circulated to all councillors.
Yeah. Is there another page, Vicky?
No, that's it.
That's it. Right. Okay. If you can manage to take that off screen then, please.
Do my best.
And number 5 on the agenda is for members of the public. Is there any members of the public?
We've got Stuart McCollum here, as you can see.
Right.
How are the members of the public?
I'll welcome Stuart when we come to his part on the agenda.
Okay.
That's okay if everyone can hear me. Right, now item 6, to consider planning application to West Suffolk Council Right, list A, list B, which is DC 20 1664.
Chair,
Third floor rear
could-
extension, 26 Ladygate.
Chair, could we postpone that to let Stuart cut in and then he can go early if he wishes?
Whatever's easiest for yourself. Thank you for that. But I'm quite happy for you just to follow your agenda, whatever's easiest for yourself.
Sorry, is there anyone wants to say anything on that first one at all? Because I think anyone want to speak on that?
Pat, can you hear us at all?
Smith? Yeah, I'm just about, but the kettle's on. That's a trouble.
Oh, all right, because Alan made a point just now. I don't know if you picked that up at all.
No, I didn't pick that up. I apologise. Councillor Stitchcombe, sorry.
I was just proposing that we postpone the first item so that we can go on with Persimmon and then come back to that later.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine for me. Yep.
Thank you. Right, next one is DC 20 0615 RM, which is reserved matters, land north of Ansuckling Way, Little Rattin. Okay, Stuart, welcome, and thank you for attending today.
Thank you. Yeah.
Would you like to speak first, and then we come afterwards? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can also give you an up-to-date. I know it's the planning committee, and I'm happy to obviously address concerns of the application. If you'd like an update generally, again, I can provide you with that at the end of the discussion as well, if that's something you feel would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So basically, the application's before you again. As you know, it was submitted in April this year and comprised the whole of phase 2 for Northwest Haverhill. But it became clear quite early on in the process that there were issues with the southern parcel, particular heights of buildings and everything. So I won't go into that just now, but what we did was we amended the original application and left it just with the 41 units that you see before you tonight. And that was in an effort to address concerns and enter in pre-app discussions with West Suffolk Council, and then leave the 41 units hopefully to progress swiftly through the process and allow us to continue our build through from phase 1. So the application is for 41 units. You've seen previous iterations of this. The latest ones have resulted in following discussions with Penny Mills, further amendments to the application layout. So turning particularly to some of the concerns that the Town Council had, the Fox units, which were 12, 15 and 16 previously, they have been amended to remove the tandem parking at the front, which I know is a concern of the Town Councils. And also we have made some further amendments to the layout. Sorry, I can't share my screen with you just now, but particularly on the shared access road into the development, we've turned some housing to face the road. We made some changes to the turning point on the private drive on the eastward side, and we have added some feature cart lodges in the area which was covered by plot 15 before, to make a feature at the end of that driveway. We've also, at the request of the council, this is West Suffolk Council, made changes to a lot of the elevations. Now, that is generally fenestration that falls on from changes we made to the initial submission. I know you've got concerns as a town council over the 3-storey element on the main road going through, looking south. We feel that the 3-storey in this location is beneficial because we have a landscape strip along the frontage of these units, and on the opposite side, when phase 2B comes forward later this year, hopefully, there'll be a wider landscape strip along there as well. So we feel that there's an opportunity to create some scale along that part of the site on either side of the infrastructure road. So that's the reasoning behind why we've gone up to 3-storey there. But I appreciate the comments that you've made, and it's not something that the Town Council particularly likes as part of the development. Another point that was raised by yourselves was the National Described Space Standards. Now, on this northern parcel, we have 8 units, I think, affordable housing units, and some of them do fall short of the National Space Standards. What I would say is that it's been going on for some time, this application, and we can't really change these units now. But the other point I would make is that West Suffolk Council don't actually have a policy which requires affordable units to be compliant with the National Space Standards. So although we are changing that, and when phase 2B comes forward, the affordable units will be National Space Standards, but for the units on this parcel, unfortunately, we can't accommodate the changes at this late stage, and it would mean a reconfiguring of the site. So that's why some of these units, as you've quite rightly identified, do fall short of that requirement. The last point, I think it's the last point in your last consultation response, was about electric vehicle charging points. Now, again, I've spoken to West Suffolk Council about this, and they accept that this is a reserve matters application, and therefore any requirement for such a provision would normally be put on as a condition on the outline planning consent. But that being said, I will be having further discussions with my MD to see if there's anything we can do to relax that and put some charging points into the houses in question, because it's something that comes up more and more these days. And as we move towards better renewables and electric vehicles in particular, I think it's something we need to be sensible about. So I'll certainly be doing my best, and I take notice of what you've said on that particular point. So there might be something to report back when it goes to the planning committee. That is probably all the changes that are taking place so far on this application. But just a word on some of the consultation responses that have come in, just for your information. Highways, as you probably know, lodged a holding objection previously. They have now revised their response in light of the amendments that have been made and are happy with the proposal subject to conditions. There's also some further landscaping drawings being drawn up and will arrive tomorrow to look at particularly tree planting along the northern edge as well. So that will be coming in and will be reported to the planning committee. Obviously, when we get that information, I'll forward it directly to you as well, so you can have a look at what we're proposing in the landscaping. And the last holding objection that we received was from the Lead Flood Authority. We believe that we have addressed all their concerns now. They had asked for a couple of further points of clarification, which are in hand and again should be back tomorrow. So unfortunately, I don't have them to report to you tonight, but we believe that they've all been addressed, and so that matter has been closed down as well. Apart from that, that's probably all I've got to say. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions and try and explain some of the thinking behind it. So I'm open to hear what your comments are.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you very much. Anyone want to say anything at all? Any questions? Right, I can't see any. Oh, Councillor Liz Smith.
Yeah.
And then
Did you say there was 2 units that were short of the standards?
No, I think I'm just looking at your consultation response here. The Hopton, the Carlton and the Moseley,
Right,
according to
sorry.
this, are all slightly deficient. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the
I remember
Hopton,
those.
the size that we have is 71 square meters and the requirement for national space standards is 79. So that's about 8 square meters short.
Right.
And the Carlton is 91 square meters, which should be between 93 and 99. So there's maybe a little bit more flexibility in that one. And the final one, the Moseley, is 71 square meters, when it should be 84 according to national space standards. So
Okay.
we'll certainly be making sure when, as I said earlier, when phase 2B comes forward, that we've got a new range of house types which we can slot in there because we're replanning it. But to slot them in here because they're slightly bigger would throw everything out. So we're hoping that we'll find favour with West Suffolk councillors when it goes before them. And at least I've explained to you the reason why it's not meeting the standards, but it will in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Tony Brown?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yes, it's a real shame that West Suffolk, or previously St Edmundsbury, didn't have a policy on minimum space standards. It's been asked for a long, long time, and no one seems to have done anything. So, you know, you can understand where Stuart's coming from. Ethically, you know, it would have been nice to hit those targets. Yeah, they're not, you know, tremendously large anyway, even the national space standards. But yeah, it's a difficult one, and I can understand exactly where you are. You've gone through all the process so far, and you know, and I'm glad to see that the next tranche hopefully will hit those targets. And I'm also really pleased to see that you're looking to you know, possibly install you know, electric charging points in some of those houses. You know, it's very important. In a few years, you know, those people will be stuffed if they haven't, you know, got plugs, or sockets. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, just on the electric vehicle charging points, as I said, it's something that's coming up more and more, and I think we have to be alert to it as well. So whether there's not, and again, there's not specific policy requirement for this, I think we have to be mindful of the fact of the journey we're taking, if you pardon the pun, and you know, provide something that people can use if they want to buy an electric car in the future. So I'm hopeful. I will speak to my MD. And we have done it in some other instances. So I'm hoping that we can offer something up as well. And if we can, I'll report that back to you in advance as well.
Just a quick one, if I can come back, Chair. And definitely around the affordable housing as well, because I've got major concerns. We've got housing, we've got old council estates in town that are going to be an absolute nightmare to link up, in the future for those people. And I don't know how they're going to, charge electric vehicles there. So if we can just keep that in mind for the affordable part of your development as well, Stuart, it'd be absolutely brilliant.
Yes, certainly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Stuart. Tony, that's quite right, Councillor Brown, I should say. Right, Stuart,
would you like me to give you an update now, and then I can leave, and then you can deliberate the application yourselves, or do you want me to hang around? Or
I've got a few questions myself personally.
Sorry.
Before we start, yeah, as I say, that if I don't know if Vicky can get this up, but so I've got to go through my notes now. Yeah, on the public health and housing, they flagged up about traffic noise survey on the A143. Have you got anything to say on that?
Yes, I do, and that was an oversight on my part there, so I apologise for that. I have commissioned an acoustics consultant to provide a report on that. So if you remember, for phase 1, it was raised as an issue then, and we provided a report. I wasn't involved in it, it was my Essex colleagues at the time, and a noise report was done and a condition was applied to the reserve matters permission. So what I have done is I've asked him to prepare a report. We're looking at the figures that were provided as part of the environmental statement for phase 1, and he'll do a report based on the predicted travel movements along the relief road, and that will be submitted as well. But it hasn't been done yet, but it will be back in time for the planning committee. So I apologise for that, was an oversight, but it will come forward and we'll send a copy of that out to you at the same time.
They did state that they wanted a noise survey done on the A143, not just they want the bypass as well, but they said on their statement they want the A1 a noise survey of the A143, because obviously that's where the traffic will be going. They'll be bypassing the town and going round there, so it will be that amount of traffic.
Yeah, it will have to address that point as well. You're quite right. What I did do is I sent a copy of the consultation response over to him, so he'll address that as well. So it will have a knock-on effect. Anything in the A143 which is predicted to use the relief road in due course will have to be considered. But we have to base it on the predicted levels from the original outline application. That's the only thing, because we can't assess the relief road that isn't there as yet. So we have to base it on predicted traffic movements. But at the time that this application came forward, this site was in allocation, as was the Red Rose site as well, I believe. So the modelling would have taken into account the major allocations of the day, which haven't changed significantly, I don't believe, since that was done.
Yeah, if I'm correct, this particular site is actually facing the starting of the main road, whereas your first site is just on the roundabout. So the first site that's already up and running wouldn't get as much noise as this next phase, this 2A phase, because that is actually facing the actual relief road. So I think that's why it's flagged up by by Public Health and Housing on this particular 2A phase. That's why they emphasised that they wanted the A143 traffic noise done.
Yes, I'll certainly make sure. I spoke to the consultant today again, so I'll make sure he does take note of these comments and in particular A143. So I'll get him to make sure that he includes that in the report. And part of the landscape proposals, which are being done today and should be with us tomorrow morning, will include significant more planting along that northern edge as well, which in time will assist with buffering the noise from the road as well, hopefully.
Right, and thank you for that. And the next one is highways have commented saying that they reckon that the trees are too near road junctions, i.e. as you come out onto the side road from the particular houses, the trees are right on the corners of the actual road. So, to me personally, they would be better spread out along the road more, not at junctions. But they sort of got a comment on that about the trees are too near road junctions.
Yeah, we can address that, because trees can be moved, and I think that the amended landscape plans actually have moved them in light of the highways comments. So the layout plan that you see or have seen, probably the coloured layout, the trees shown in there are more indicative than the actual final landscape drawing. So when we submit them, if they haven't addressed it, then they can be addressed either by condition, so that we have to submit finer details, for example, at a future date.
Okay, thank you for that. And next one is comments from Strategic Housing. about the 106 affordable housing mix.
Yeah,
Too many 3 bedrooms, they're saying. It also indicates 10 shared and 2 affordable.
yeah.
And they're saying it should be the other way around. It should be 10 affordable and 2 shared houses.
So we can accommodate whatever tenure they want. We can just swap the house types, and that's something we've offered up to them. What the discussions that have taken place with Penny Mills and the planning department along these lines is that we have submitted an affordable housing scheme which covers the whole of phase 2 now. So while we don't have an application before you for phase 2B, we have an affordable housing scheme which Penny was going to discuss with her colleagues in housing today. So that 10 and 2 may change in some way before it gets to the planning committee. And that will be influenced by what is going on in the southern parcel as well. So it may well change what you see before you just now.
And about too many 3 bedrooms, would that be on the net 2B? Would that sort of be compensated?
It can be, yeah, and that's it. It was an effort. I mean, the council have been quite pragmatic about this, in that the affordable housing scheme has to be submitted as part of the 106 requirements, as you quite rightly point out. What we're trying to do is look at it holistically so that we can get across the whole of phase 2, so that the unfortunate thing is it would have been a better fit if it had been in the application which we amended, which covered the whole of the site. But I've said to Penny today, we're quite happy to change the mix as they see fit to get the best mix over the 2 sites, and we'll tie that in somehow. Well, it's tied in through the 106 anyway, so we have to get agreement for the whole of phase 2 under the terms of the 106.
Thank you for that. Next one is, and thank you very much for these, are to do with the electric vehicle points, charging points.
Yeah.
Thank you that you're going to go back to your MD and talk about it, because I think that's so important, and I think you've realised that. But
yeah,
just to point out, see, there's houses that have private drives between their parking spaces and their houses. So you just think that the ones that are next to the houses, they can get, they could get plugs put on the outside of the houses. I don't think that's a problem. That, obviously they'd have to pay for it and everything, but these particular people have got their parking spaces across private drives. So they're going to have to dig the whole road up, or the private drive up, to get to their vehicle. So it's going to be really, really hard and very, very expensive if they want the charging plugs. And also there's another one. I think there's 2 houses where they've got their parking spaces behind their back garden. So that's going to be a big problem, because they'll have to have a electric line going through right along their back garden onto the back. So that's going to be expensive as well. So I'd just like to sort of point them 2 things out, really.
Sure. Yeah, what we can do, and what we've done in other situations, is we put the socket comes from the house. So it's a spur in the house, which would go in the external wall and then can lead into the driveway. So it doesn't actually go underground, it would be in the house. And where there's a garage provided within the plot, the spur for the EV charging point would be within the garage. So right next to where the car is, or if the car was in the garage.
Yeah, and I think most garages have got electrics in them in any case, but that are joined to the houses.
Yeah.
But the problem's going to be is with these particular ones where the parking spaces are across private drives, and obviously right at the very back garden, behind the back garden. So that's where the real problems are going to be. I don't think there's going to be a problem where they're right next to the garages at all.
No.
Me personally.
No. It's a conversation, as I say, I'll have with my MD. And I'll, there might be cases where we can't put it in all the garages, but if we can get a certain number of the houses provided with these EV charging points, I think that's a big step forward, especially when there isn't a real requirement for us to do this, but I would like to see an effort made to provide some at least anyway. So where there is a garage, it should have one, and the houses which have a on-plot parking should certainly have one as well. That's certainly what I'll be aiming for.
Thank you very much for that, Stuart. It's well appreciated, because we as councillors are very concerned about the pollution of cars that's got engines in Haverhill. And, you know, that's why we're sort of quite hard and when it comes to electric plugs for the new build. So it's great news that you're going back on that.
Yeah, I'll certainly be doing my best. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll keep you up to speed on what happens on that front.
Thank you very much. That's my lot in any case. So I don't know if any other councillors, Vicky, can you take them? I don't know if anyone wants to speak at all. You're muted, Vicky.
Councillor Dave Smith.
Right. Councillor Smith? Councillor Dave Smith?
Yeah, I think I read somewhere about this or a subject of removing hedgerows. I wonder if you could sort of be more specific on where these hedgerows are and what's their status really, because as you know, in the past we've had ancient hedgerows removed without authority. Where are these hedgerows?
Yeah, you're quite right. We certainly don't want to be going down these routes again, which we're well versed, and you know, it was an error for which we apologise and paid the price ultimately. So the hedgerows, I don't know, as I say, I can't share my screen with you. Do you have a copy of the layout plan, Vicky, that you could bring out, which is 041P 100B? Are you able to pull up the planning layout?
Planning layout.
Yeah, it's 041P 100B.
041P
014P 100 revision B. Should be a 100 in there somewhere.
I couldn't see where it is. I couldn't see where it was.
Do you know roughly the date?
It would have been some...
Rev A. 041P 100 Rev A.
So it'll be up from there.
P100. It should have come. There it is down there. Well, there's a revision A on there, but I don't see revision B.
But that's 10th of August. It'll be later than that, surely.
Yes, it was. Yes, it should be further up. It would have been submitted in October, I think, round about the 2nd of October.
Amended planning issue sheet. Can you see the screen?
I can see it. Yeah.
Shout if you see it.
I think it's probably further up. It's probably right at the top.
Yeah, that because you're on 7th of October at the moment, and it keeps bouncing back to it. You want to go up more. It's not going to go, is it?
I think you're getting closer now.
Oh, that's a second.
I'm up the top now. That's as far as I can go.
Yeah, you want to go back down, because you're on the second. We want around about the 4th.
I'm on the 22nd.
It doesn't look on there, to be fair.
That's better.
Doesn't look like it's on here.
I don't think it's been put on the website. No, it's not been put on the website, unfortunately. It's not very helpful. I don't know if you can see, if I hold this in front of my screen. Oh, maybe not.
There was a hedgerow survey on the 7th of October. Would that be it? phases 2 to 6.
It might be. Can you see that plan I've just put up there, which shows this dark green line here
Yeah.
is the hedgerow where it's being retained. And it's
Okay.
just at this end and down here to accommodate the SUDS drainage head wall. That is where it's being removed there. So the dark green is what's being retained. It's not very clear, I'm sorry about that.
Got a hedgerow survey, if that helps.
Yeah, bring that up, it may well be in here.
There'll be a picture of it.
There should be a layout plan. Is that at the bottom? No.
Now,
It might be if you could bring up that plan, which was revision A, which was submitted originally in August. I can probably show you where it is in that plan. I don't know why it's not been put in the council's website.
There it is at the
Yeah,
bottom.
if you bring up that one, that's revision A, which is out of date now because we've amended the layout. But I should be able to highlight on there where it is. Right, so if you, yeah, it's just where, do you see where it doglegs down to the south? There's a white area above that on the, yeah, right there. That the line of the hedge goes up from there and basically runs right along the red line. Yeah, if you go up that line, that's where it is. And that's going to be all retained there. It's just at that little bit at the bottom where it widens out, some of the, yeah, right there, the hedge will be removed to allow the head wall to go in, to allow the proper drainage to go in place, and then to filter down to the attenuation basin, which is further down to the south between these two thin red lines. So it's not on that plan, but that's the exact location. If it helps, I could send through an email tomorrow morning just to clarify where that is. I know it's going to be after you've deliberated on the application, but at least it will clarify it for you. So most of it is still retained along there, and clearly to the north where it cuts across the relief road, that's where it would also be cut through there as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, right. Is there anyone else? Anybody else? No? Right. Thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And obviously you can leave now. Thank you very much.
Would you like an update just while I'm here, just on where things stand generally with the site, just before I pop off?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did send through a note a few weeks ago and updated generally to Councillor Burns and Vicky. But the latest situation is that, I mean, basically, Haverhill's been very popular. The houses have been selling like hotcakes up there. And I think it's something that developers are experiencing up and down the country for some reason, possibly the impact of the stamp duty relaxation just now, but new houses are selling very well. So we have now only got 3 houses to sell in phase 1. That's 3 out of the 200, which started in March 2018. So that's just tells you how quickly after a slow start things have picked up. We have 32 plots at present reserved, and we have 156 now out of the 200 that are legally completed. So that is a significant number. You'll appreciate why we need to get pushing on with this application and get cracking through the site so that we don't have to take construction teams off the site. Phase 2B I spoke about earlier, that's the southern parcel for the remaining 127 units within phase 2. That is subject of workshops and preliminary discussions with the officers of the council, the planning department. So I may have something that I can share with the town council before too long. The third of the first 3 workshops is next week. I'd like to be able to send something to you to have a look at, just to show you and give you a flavour of what's happening in the next phase, because I think you'll be quite interested to see what we've done. It looks as if it's going to be quite different from what has gone before. And we have removed the 4-storey element from that particular part of the site, which was next to Anne Suckling Road. So I know a lot of people in Haverhill will be glad about that. Just turning briefly to the Relief Road as well. The roundabout at the eastern end should be open, we hope, later on this year. We're running out of time this year, and it was all put on hold a little bit because of coronavirus and the impacts of that. But the roundabout, I understand, may well be open towards the end of this year. And the Relief Road, we're still in discussions about some of the discharge of conditions relating to the details of that, but hopefully we'll be cracking on with that in the early part of next year as well, and pushing forward right through the site to deliver that Relief Road, which I'm sure you'll all be pleased to hear. So pushing forward with that. At the turn of the year, it's going to be busy again, so that's probably as much as I can tell you just now, but certainly the development is very popular now after a slow start.
Thank you, Stuart. So you'll be working throughout the lockdown, will you? You know, the site will be.
Yes, it will be. At the initial lockdown, which seems an awful long time ago now, we did close immediately, as all the construction sites did in the development industry, really. And after about 4 weeks or so, we started to get back on track. We've been on the go ever since then. It's been extremely busy, and we're pushing forward generally as much as possible with the sites that Persimmon actually own. Land deals have not ground to a halt, but we're all a bit more cautious about what we do these days. So the emphasis for Persimmon is to develop out sites that we have control of immediately, and looking to pick up deals, well, probably towards the end of this year or early next year. So yeah, all systems go just now until Boris tells us otherwise.
Thank you very much for that. It's good news. As you well know, that we want that bypasses completed yesterday.
Yeah.
But you know, it's great news that you are going to do it, because we was expecting it to be another quite a few years before you was doing it, and then you come up with a great news that you're going to do it as soon as possible, which is great. So it's really good news. Yeah,
we're planning to just start it from west of the roundabout and just crack on and just do it in one go, basically. So it will be certainly delivered long before the 500th occupation, which was the other trigger point in the 106. It was either 5 years or 500 units that should be delivered long before then. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, one question.
Is there anyone else?
Yeah, yes, please.
Tony Brown, yeah.
Yeah. Stuart, how long do you think from the commencement of the Relief Road will it take you to put that in?
I think we're looking at 2023, I think, is when we intend that to be finished, if not before then. So if we can get the houses built and generate funds to deliver it as soon as possible, we'll do that. But we're certainly going to crack on. I think it's the early part of 2023.
Okay. Yeah. Cheers, Stuart. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? No? Right. Thank you again, Stuart.
Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak again. I'm happy to do this, more often. Before COVID, I was quite keen to come along and just speak to you, even if there wasn't an awful lot to update. So I'm happy to do that again. And now that we've all managed to work Zoom, I'm happy to do that as and when. So Vicky, if you want to give me a call at any time, I can do this, or I can provide you with a written update, whatever suits.
Thank you.
That would be really good, Stuart, thank you. That would be really good, because it's so much better if we get someone to talk about these particular planning, then we know where we are then. Otherwise it goes backwards and forwards like a tennis ball in a tennis court. So we prefer you coming or even written statement, whichever suits the committee.
Yeah.
So it'd be really good. Thank you very much.
Like everything else, it's suffered a bit with the coronavirus, but let's get it back in track. I'm happy to speak to you anytime. And if any of you want to get in touch with me, Vicky has my contact details and email addresses, so I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'm glad to do so.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
Thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We seem to have lost Pat.
Again.
Tony.
He is in the waiting room, but I think that's his other computer been there some time.
Okay.
But he's just going back in again on the second device.
Sorry, everyone. I swiped off my screen. Right. I was looking for the agenda and I swiped you off my screen. Right. The first one is number 1. The next one is number 1, which is DC 201664 HH. This is 26 Ladygate, first floor rear extension. Does anyone want to talk on this? Councillor Dave Smith first, and then Councillor Greenie.
Sorry, are we not going to discuss the previous application amongst ourselves first?
Or we do it in order.
Or are we going back to the original order?
Oh, of course, yeah. Thank you for that. Right, yeah, we need to vote on that and discuss it, don't we? So I'm so confused with this blimmin' phone. Right, okay. Right, who wants to speak first of all? Do you want to speak, Councillor Smith? No? Right, who wants to speak on the application? Obviously, I had a lot of things, Vicky. Councillor Stinchcombe first.
I don't know whether we want to try and sort this out now, but I'm very confused about the National Space Standard, whether it applies in any way, shape or form. I think he was excusing it for the affordable housing, but are we saying that West Suffolk Council has not adopted it for any housing?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, so we're kind of wasting our time bleating on about it. We just hope that someone will take pity on us and pay some attention. So we bleat and we bleat and we bleat, and actually maybe eventually.
Yeah, I think personally, I think it's disgusting that West Suffolk Council has not, because loads and loads of councils adopted these quite a few years ago.
Yes.
And bear in mind, these minimum space standards are tiny compared with Europe, and I think it's even worse with Canada, who's got the largest ones, whereas we've got one of the lowest standards, and I'm talking about for size.
Yeah.
So, for them to go under that, they're like living in little boxes, and it's just it's not fair and it's not right. It makes me so angry, but there's nothing we can do about it.
It's not ethical, but then it's not ethical at all, but it's on the lap of what was St Ed's and now West Suffolk, is that they haven't spent the time, the effort, and do not see it as a priority to provide their residents with houses with minimum space standards. It's absolutely appalling. I mean, we should mention it at every opportunity we can, and we should put that in, our comments. But you can't. The developer is acting, within the rules that have been applied to them. And it's the council's fault, West Suffolk, for not putting putting, the effort into putting some minimum space standards, to be implemented. It's just, it's appalling. Yeah.
Councillor Dave Smith.
Yeah, as you say, we can object to it, but because it's not one of the policies, it's not a material consideration, and it doesn't have any weight at all. I think, Mike said that you said about these the newer development of it, the house would be larger, but will that then push up the costs? Because it looks like to me it's all about maximising your profits. But yeah, I think it's all very well to say they're going to build bigger houses, but is it going to cost more?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we definitely should. I agree with Councillor Brown. We definitely should keep writing to West Suffolk Council and saying, for our residents in Haverhill, it's not fair and it's not right, especially the affordable housing side as well. It's just not fair.
Yeah. But just say once again, we're disappointed that once again that the development comes up that the provision of rooms is well below the minimum space standards, and it's not just 1 or 2 meters; it's 10 or so meters. You're talking it should be 84 in one case, and I think they're providing 71. So it's a deficiency.
Yeah, can you take note of that, please, Vicky? That part, there is 13 meters difference, square meters that is, which is just disgusting, really. Also, I think you should emphasise on that as well, Vicky, about the minimum space standards in the UK is one of the smallest in Europe. I think we should emphasise that. So I'm just disgusted personally that it's so tiny that these poor people it's their first houses and they have to move into little boxes, and it's just not right. It's just not fair. Right, is there anything else? Because I mentioned about the electric plugs as well, and I did mention about the trees, and they said they're going to accommodate that. I think we should put them sort of things down that I mentioned, and then obviously we've got to decide whether we object on them grounds or neutral with comments. Vicky, can I sort of come back to you?
I'd like to speak.
Sorry, Councillor Sitcombe.
Thank you, Chair. On the subject of the space standards, I have read them enough to realise that there are minimum sizes for bedrooms as well. It's not just minimum gross floor area that bedrooms come up, because Karen Cattle, her earlier comments alerted me to the fact that at that time, I'm not sure if that was before or after the revised application, there was some sub 6.5 square metre bedrooms. I mean, that's only a single bedroom, but I mean, that's like a single bed and the similar sort of area of floor to stand on, end of, isn't it, by the time, or have I miscalculated that? It's 2 metres long by a couple of metres wide. No, sorry, 2 metres long by a metre wide, I mean, no, sorry, by three metres. Okay, you've got room to swing a very small kitten round, but not a big cat. It is it's just a tiny bedroom. And in fact, the space, I think she had some figures that the space standards don't now have. They've got 7.5 square metres for a single and 11.5 for a double. I mean, that's not vast spaces even then, but that's something we should be referring to, I think, on page 4 of the document, as well as the table 1 that we've looked at before. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Vicky, as I say, I've mentioned about the highways with the trees, and let me get that up if I can. Yeah, the traffic noise survey as well. That's public health and housing, Vicky. I did mention that to him. I just want these to be noted in there because it will remind him as well that, you know, that these should be looked at. It's a traffic noise survey of the A143 that we want done, really. Not of the bypass, because there will be hardly any traffic if, you know, that. So it's got to be done on the A143, the traffic survey, as public health and housing mentioned. And obviously the trees as well, which he said he'll move, hopefully. And that's from highways. Okay, is there anyone else? No? Right, we've got to make a decision now on whether we object or whether we neutral with comments. Councillor Stinchcombe?
I'd like to propose that we're neutral with comments.
Okay. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Brown? Is there any other comments on that at all? No? Right, all those in favour, please show. Is there any object? Right, there's one against, I should say, not object, against, there's one against. Oh, two against. Two against that, right, okay, okay. Right, next one on the agenda is number 3, which is DC 201463HH, which is 116 Withersfield Road. Part 2-storey and part single-storey extension to rear. Insertion of window on the first floor side elevation. Is there any comments at all on that? Anyone? No? Oh, Councillor Davison?
Unless I'm mistaken, Chair, this has already been agreed on the 6th of October by the Planning Committee.
Vicky?
It's a reconsultation. It's a reconsultation, Bruce. So
that means they put it in again, haven't they?
Yes.
Councillor Stinchcombe?
Because there is an updated drawing, isn't there? I think, is it the case that we didn't have a proper first floor plan before and we now have one?
The applicant has put the reconsultation in. The date is the 19th of October.
I've noticed that there's no ground floor plan, but you know, for the new one, but I assumed that that was going to stay the same. It's just the upstairs was going to change. If I'm correct, Vicky, on that.
I'll find it, just one moment.
They're making 2 bedrooms larger.
Sorry, it had logged out because we've taken so long. Just bear with me. What would you like to see?
Just the one, the upstairs before, and then upstairs afterwards. because there's not one for the downstairs afterwards. You can make it larger. Zoom in, please. I must be talking about the wrong one, because that doesn't look. No, I'm looking at a different. I must be talking about a different one.
This is the Withersfield Road one. You've gone on to number 3, Pat, but we haven't done number 1 yet. So perhaps that's where you got confused.
Yeah, this is number 3, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Withersfield
I
Road.
must have been talking about number 1 then.
You still need to go back to number 1 though.
No, not really. Have we done number 1? We've done number 1, haven't we?
No, we haven't done
No.
number 1.
Oh, ain't we?
No.
No, because I helpfully proposed that we do number 2 first, but it wasn't very helpful.
Yeah.
Because it's confused everyone.
Right. So while we got this up, then should we do this one, number 3? As I say, have we got any comments on this one at all from anyone?
I've got no comments.
Because I haven't myself.
Well, Bruce is right, isn't he? That there's nothing new on here. So it's a mystery. There's nothing since we considered this. We considered this on the 6th, and there's our comment gone in from when we last looked at it. So what's changed since then? Nothing. There's nothing after our comment, is there? We looked at it.
Vicky, can you help us?
No, I can't. It just came in on the 19th of October that there was a reconsultation, and I've got the live drawings up. I'm actually on the website now. So this is what there is. I don't know what the difference is.
It seems strange that they put it in again when they've already got permission.
It just says of second floor window on side elevation. That's the change.
That's the change, is it? Right. Okay. Can you bring up then there was one that showed you what they look out, the percentage of what they look as well, if my memory serves me well. If that's just that window.
Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that's all they will be able to see if they look out the window.
That's but the new planning application is just the addition of a second floor window on the side elevation. So would you like me to get the side elevation up?
Yes, please.
There you go. There. Proposed elevations.
So can you point out where it is, Vicky, on there?
There's the side elevation.
Right. So, right. Okay.
But this is the old document, isn't it? This is the one that we've already considered. So they've put in a fresh application or a reconsultation on something that we cannot consider because we cannot see it. There's nothing. We looked at this on the 6th, didn't we? We've got our comments in on the 8th. There is nothing new there. So how can we possibly consider this item on the agenda?
So we can say that the new drawings are not available.
Yeah, that's all we can say. We'd love to have considered it, but we can't because we can't see any drawings.
Yeah, it's strange that they put this in without new drawings.
Well, it's not necessarily their fault. It could be an officer who's messed up. That was the polite way of putting it.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Okay. Thank you for that. So that's a comment on that one.
Councillor Liz Smith is waving.
Or is she drowning?
Yeah, I was just going to agree with Alan. I think we need to see further information on this. Can't really consult on this without seeing the drawing. So I would sort of second whatever Alan has said.
Okay. Anyone else? No?
Right, so now
Do we need to vote on that, Vicky?
you've got a proposer and a seconder.
Okay. All those in favour that we send it back?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, go back to where we should have gone in the first place, number 1, which is DC 2016-64, first floor rear extension. It also states previous application, DC 19-2252 HH. This is 26 Ladygate. We've got Councillor Luccarini.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by this one as well, because well, one, there's no application form, so why West Suffolk Council have accepted the this planning application without one, and two, I'm pretty sure that this has already been constructed, and it hasn't been constructed with a flat roof, so I'm not quite sure what they're asking for, what they're asking permission for. They've constructed it as the previous application was granted.
I think the officers have got too many emails coming in and it's confusing, just like me. Perhaps their laptop's gone like mine and they've had to go on their phone. It's confusing them.
It makes you wonder whether this is actually meant to be a live planning application.
Perhaps not. Councillor David Smith?
Well, as Councillor Luccarini says, the work's being done, so I don't see how they can be amending a plan while construction's going on. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, it is a mystery. I mean, it's obvious from the plans what the difference is. They've gone from a sloping roof to a flat roof, but yeah, not sure what this is all about.
Vicky, Councillor Luccarini?
If you look at the drawing numbers, they all seem to match up with the previous planning application. I really don't think it's actually meant to be live.
Vicky?
You need to suggest something.
Sorry?
Well, Pat, can I suggest then that we go back to the planning officer and ask
what they planning?
Yeah, one, whether this application's actually meant to be live, and if it is, what has changed? Maybe we don't have all the drawings here.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no drawings of downstairs, is there? Councillor Liz Smith?
Yeah, I would second that, but as well, Aaron said there's no application form, is there, on there? So we need to see that at the very least to see what they're actually asking for at this stage. So
This is the one that we deferred from the last meeting because there was no drawings or anything available before. So this was deferred from the previous meeting.
all
There
right,
was nothing on there at all, and now we've got this.
right. which still doesn't tell us
It's
a
still
lot.
not good enough. Councillor Fitcombe?
Well, I'm puzzled. The last meeting, we could see all the ones that are dated 29th of September, presumably, couldn't we? Or have they only actually gone up?
There was nothing on there at all.
Nothing.
Oh, so that's clever, isn't it? So suddenly things that we should have been able to see have become magically visible. And then there is definitely one after our last meeting, and there's the 29th of October one.
Yeah, which is this one.
Which is the one you just showed us.
Mm.
We can't make a decision on this because we don't know what they're actually applying for. So it's just
No.
got to go back to them full stop. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Do we need to vote on that, Vicky? Sending it back? Yeah. Right. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Brown. Seconder, please. Councillor Liz Smith. All those in favour, please show.
Yeah.
Yep, overwhelming. Right, thank you very much. Right, number 7 on the agenda is matters to report.
Where is John when you need him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Any matters to report? He did send his email. Councillor Brown, did I see you? No?
Yeah, I was just going to say one little bit of good news is they've started constructing it looks like they started constructing the bus stop outside Lidl's, which
Brilliant.
yeah, went actually through council originally. I think it was around 2 to 3 years ago. It's taken, even though we had the money set aside, and I've badgered Colin, you know, and as Colin knows, for the last 2 or 3 years, and Colin's obviously badgered highways, but it's taken, well, it's 2 or 3 years. Colin better clarify it, but they say it looks as if they're actually starting construction of that now today, so which is good news.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Anyone else? No? Right, thank you very much. And the next one is number 8, which is the date of next meeting, which is the 24th of November at 7 p.m. And it will definitely be on Zoom because we'll be in lockdown. Okay, thank you, everyone. Is there anything else at all? No? Right. Thank you